changed quite a bit when I was working on this presentation. Yeah. So I told him it was maybe driving social change and trying to connect and cooperate to community, because I've been for 33 years the director of the Mauritius Export Association. So it's in all the free zone companies. So that's why I think I have maybe chosen to get this corporate people to the community. So I think 5 points maybe for you to take home about Mauritius CSR policy before 2009 and from way before, and then from 2015, and what about the National CSR Committee, because our CSR is community driven. I'll share a bit with you what about our CSR meetups and our CSR Connect, and also the From Projects to Program. I love this project, and I think Dr. Bacha would love it because it's talking about love. And then we'll be trying to align, all UN sustainable goals. I think Mauritius is not new in the history of CSR, not true in the history of Mauritius, because we have most of the sugar states in the past. They did practice corporate social responsibility because they have to take care of their employees, because of all the sugar states take care of their employees, be it hospital, learning, in all the nearby villages. Oh, what have I done? Okay. So I think what has, push much more CSR in our country is the introduction of labor law. And it was considered the first legislation passed in the Parliament of Mauritius that is linked to CSR. We introduced sick leave. Mauritius, we have if I'm wrong, because we increased the sick leave locally, maternity leave, 3 to 4 months depending on the area. The hours of rest was compulsory, the number of hours no more than 45 plus overtime. And we had also work council in the enterprise. I personally has been involved in setting up so many work council in different enterprises, because from the export processing zone, there was so many different culture of work from people from Hong Kong, France, and India, or whether it's South Africa, whoever came to set their companies in Mauritius, textile particularly. So we have the Works Council to improve the conditions of work. We have the trade unionist movement, who consider human capital as the most important factor of production. And I was personally very much involved to get things better for our employees. So I think the community also, because of the work that has been done, the government allowed tax deduction. And it was also an opportunity for all the corporations to use the CSR as a platform to, for the economic development of the country. But I think CSR movement has shown companies that responsibly do not lie about purely in making profits, but what is important is how profit is made. And I think in the textile sector, no matter how much people, say a lot of bad things, but I think the textile sector has been the first sector where the improvement for the workers has been done, because no companies were allowed to export their products unless they comply to a lot of different standards of, and then it came the ISO 9000, 26,000, naming all the different ISOs set in place. And then Mauritius also we integrated the code of corporate governance and integrated sustainable reporting. And also in the Financial Act, many companies were invited to present corporate governance in their report sector. But I think, by 2007, the then minister established a legal policy for all registered companies to contribute a certain percentage of their book profit towards programs, and therefore contribute to social and environmental development of the country. But I think, the companies are not likely to follow you just like an invitation. So the government decided to make it a law. Every company that have made profit, 2% of their profit of their chargeable income, has to go for the NGOs. And I think Mauritius is the first country in the world to require businesses to donate a portion of their profits to NGOs for government. I think many will follow suit. And because by the end of the day, many companies, they do give maybe reluctantly but I think it does make a difference by the end of the day for the social peace. Because somebody yesterday told me, say, oh, in Mauritius you can feel that how in our communities we feel like, very peaceful, and we have the social, no social unrest as such. And I feel it's because the companies have been invited to participate in the social development. So when we created the CSR, there has been a lot of sectors of intervention, depending on which minister led this, were responsible for the sector, but some of them give priority to no poverty, social, economic development, health, leisure, sports, environment, education, training, calamities. So you can see we were just complying to the sustainable goals some years back. And then you can see how much money we were giving. I mean, 300 and it looks like over 10 million US dollars. It's not a big sum, but still, only some companies who surveyed did give the money. But we could feel that, there's a lot of project was, getting on. And we went from, so much so, from maybe 200 NGOs, now we have about 2,000 NGOs. So you can see the number that is increasing, and just a few. And then so much so that the decentralized cooperation program, they funded a lot of projects from 2011 to date. And that is interesting because they funded, projects of education, empowerment, environment, and health. So they contributed also to make, our social responsibility more visible. These are the different amounts, like, this is $1 million of fund for this SGW is the small grant that they decentralized gave. The CPI is the call for projects, and every year they call for projects, and all the funded projects they have we are having them listed so to know where the different NGOs are benefiting. So, and then in 2015, the government this minister, Mr. Vishnu Lachanarayu, he says, I'm removing all the CSR guidelines, but he wanted all the onus to be on the companies to do the social work. So it makes like, before there was a lot of guidelines and today there's no guidelines. So it looks like a bit difficult to operate. So we bring the definition that alleviation of poverty should be the top number one, relief of sickness or disability, advancement of education of vulnerable people. These are the areas that the government would prioritize. Because basically, if the companies, instead of giving that 2% to the areas, they give it to marketing, I think the MOA, the Mauritius Revenue Authority, won't approve. So they make sure that the money they give goes really to the area that has been earmarked, but the onus is on them. But I think for me, the definition of the CSR would be like Professor Hopkins. We had the pleasure to receive some to the Mauritius in April last April. He says CSR is concerned with treating all the stakeholders of the firm ethically or in a responsible manner. And I think it's very true, because it's all about shared values, the relationship between cooperation and community. I always say the triple bottom line, the combination of financial performance, social performance, and environmental performance. So we as, because since April 2015, I chair this committee, so I have to review all our vision, our objective, and basically we were invited to act as a bridge and advisor between the public sector organization, corporate entities, civil societies, and other stakeholders in the context of CSR projects. And to set up a framework to facilitate, coordinate the implementation of parrainage projects, which I will share with you. Facilitate the introduction of new tools, innovation techniques to fight against poverty and achievable of sustainable goals, development goals, and to promote best practices among all stakeholders involved in the implementation of CSR. So what we have been doing at activities, we had been having CSR meetup session. We had about 6 since the beginning of the year. CSR Connect session, we had only one because it was a bit more difficult with the NGOs. And now we are introducing, CSR Connect online for them. And then the Parinage project, which I'll share with you. So the CSR, we have our website recently created, where we have, the welcome, the meetups, the directory, the CSR Connect, and the events. So we have the CSR meetups. We had already 6, as I told you. And I'd like to recognize my good friend, Maga Ansami. He's the one who has been the first to introduce Mr. Professor Michael Hopkins, and we hosted. What we try to do with the CSR meetup is get all the funders together regularly every last Friday of the month, so they can meet and share the projects, and it will be easy because there are so many funders, and they don't give it like, I'm doing better than the other one, but then sharing will help, because so many is, at times we lose that the beneficiary should be the one in the highlighted, and not the company. So I think it was a great platform, because with the withdrawal of the guidelines, they were a bit at a loss, and then it has helped us to make things happen. So then we have the CSR Connect. This is the CSR Connect is connecting the NGOs to funders. Last month, because when I just was appointed, I did the first one, but it was not a catastrophe, but it was very difficult because the people didn't like to work together. The NGOs were in competition because they're thinking if everybody knows what you're having, like facilities or fund, the other one will just like grab. And then what we're trying to do is we invited all the NGOs to help them, to train them to put their project online. And I'm glad to see that this company, Joie-de-Vie, this NGOs, he was asking like 325,000, and it was great that he obtained, within the days he was, put the project online, it was multiplied by 5. This sponsorship. So I think it's great that we are training now, we are putting because at the last meeting I had 18 NGOs, and by the end of this year, the 18 NGOs will have their project online, so the companies can walk in and look what are the NGOs they want to finance in which area. And this is very interesting because we are trying to organize and even having a sort of a dashboard where we can see what are funders, which funders you have, what the money maybe you had, the money you're still missing to be able to finish your project or to put your project to completion. So the Parinage is a new concept, and it's a company who has been trying this new Parinage, which allow the institutions that are contributing to CSR to take on the responsibility under their wings those unsustainable pockets of poverty in our country. No matter how you see the country looks beautiful, but there's a lot of pocket of poverty that you don't see due to these people. If you walk there, I personally I was shocked because I live in this country, but I've never ever realized how many people live in the, I would say, under $2 a day, but still, because things are not that easy, because you feel with a lot of sunshine. You can live by the seaside with 2 t-shirts and 2 boxer shorts, you see. So it's not true that there's a lot of different poverty. And so what we try, and then we are identifying 18 pockets of poverty, and I'm working on 3 of them. So to make sure getting together, not only the private sector doing the soft skill, the government doing the all infrastructure, and then to get them together. It's hard work because getting all the ministries together, I get them once and I'm still waiting, having another meeting to sort out so many different capacities. This is the Love Bridge, and it's fun, it's great because this project has been working on a pilot for 3 years, and 42 households, we don't say pocket of it, households have been accompanied. And it's great because the children are looked after, because we have this, like, if we have to sum up the project, is you have love in the middle, we have what called famille accompagnatrice, that is there is the family who take care and responsibility to accompany the beneficiary, the family who is in household with difficulty. And then we have the social worker which is the love bridge team. The social worker would visit this family, this household with difficulties, and then we'll find out another family. Usually the family will be within the area, or family from a company who would be taking care of this family. For example, to take them to go for all administrative measures, or to pay their water, to see there's no connection for water, to look over different problems, electricity, maybe if the husband is in prison, to make sure that some facilities are given to them to be able to visit the family. If they are in drugs, the social worker will refer them to NGOs who deal with drug addicts, or the children who go to school, to ensure that they go to school. So it's a long-term commitment. And we can say, following this experience, that's why the minister made it like a national program that everybody has to work in. And this is very interesting, because at times it's not just money. And at times the family who accompanies the people, it's not money. They don't have to give money every month, no. They have to ensure that maybe they can take them out for a day, ensure that they are being taken care in their different day-to-day life. So it's a lot of commitment, moral commitment, not just one shot and say, like in the front of television, give a big check and then walk out. No, we want it to be a commitment that will make a difference for the people, both for these people and for ourselves, because if we live like so many in gated compounds, we don't see the mystery outside, and how can we have to protect? And I think also so many security companies like flourishing, because we are trying to separate the have and the have not. And your life is unbearable. We had in 1999 some surge, and I think it was very difficult for us Mauritius to live in that sort of tension. We are not used to it at all. So we always think that we have to live in harmony, but now the have not and the have not is just the gap is getting wider and wider. And I think the Love Bridge is a great project. It's one of among all the different. It's not the one, but it helps a lot. For me, it's just like a glue, a binding of our whole population. So we are also in our website having the directory of all those CSR managers and directors in each and different companies and in each and different region. So any person can contact them. These are the photo galleries, because then we have a lot of different activities. Yesterday I went to 15 NGOs, was just having like a trade fair, and they were selling their Christmas gifts within downtown Port-Louis, and it was great. And they said they never had such good, business. Not only business of selling their goods, because it was done by the handicapped people, the people that were for prisoners or children in difficulties. And it was great, all of them 15, and it was one of the big CSR company, and that funders. And it was great because the funder says how many million he has, and how the companies can come and and share and be helped. So it was a great time I had yesterday. So also on our website we say all the events. So having the African leadership today and then we are having a lot of training together with DCP. We try to get all people together to do the training, even the private companies as part of their CSR, they do the training for the NGOs. And next year, welcome next year, in May 11 and 12, we are having a conference on CSR together with the World Airline Corporate Association. So it's just part of a commercial. And I think all the sustainable development goals, we try to, get this more and more like to tell everybody that in Mauritius we are caring and having the sustainable goals aligned with our development. And I think like everybody, what we want is to have peace and justice. And I think all of you are here because you all want to align your development of your country together with the sustainable goals of the UN so that you can live peacefully and share the justice and well.